Hi, Brenda here from Simply Nourish. I'm so happy you could join us today. I'm even more excited to have my really good friend Lou here with us. Now, Lou's been involved with with Simply Nourish basically since the start. She's been the person I have shared all my new knowledge with, and it's been really exciting to see her take on some of the information that I've been able to pass on to her. And now we're going to have a chat with Lou about her journey and how Simply Nourish has supported her. Yay!
Struggling with most before you started your journey with Simply Nourish?
Interesting. Okay. Probably just general well-being and health, to the point where physically and mentally I wasn't aligned. Just we weren't on the same path. What my brain wanted to do, what my body wanted to do, we were in polarizing places.
How were those struggles showing up in your everyday life?
Oh, I couldn't do anything. Well, no, I could, but I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I think a pivotal moment for me came when I just went on a walk with my family, with my partner and my son, and there was a small hill climb, and they just did it, and I was just struggling hugely. I was struggling because I didn't have the strength, I didn't have the mobility, I just felt out of place in that environment, and I didn't like how that felt.
What had you tried before that didn't quite work for you?
Crash diets, lots of them. I'd done Weight Watchers. I'd tried pretty much any kind of anything restrictive I was in. Everything except basically getting a gastric sleeve or anything like that. I tried all of those hardcore diets that require you to be incredibly strict on yourself for a short period of time. You get some great gains and you lose weight, and then you go back to normal life, and 3 weeks later you're back at the same weight you started at.
What made you feel ready to make a change this time?
It was a combination of things. I had a couple of experiences where one thing happened when I turned 50. I was away on a girls' trip in Queenstown with a group of friends, and they were all still asleep. And I got up in the morning, and I was just sitting on this lovely bench thing, looking out across the Crown Range and like the Wakatipu Basin, and I could just see all this activity happening, and I was like, oh, wow, that looks amazing. I really want to get out there and do something like that, as you do when you're in those environments. And then straight away, my own voice said to me, oh, you can't do that. And I was like, and I just remember that moment thinking, oh, I didn't like how that sounded. The fact that I'd posed a question to myself saying, I'd like to do that. And I'd already answered it saying I couldn't. And that wasn't what I wanted. And then at the same time, it kind of aligned with meeting Brenda and experiencing her journey into wellness, and her development of her understanding, her studies, her understanding of how building Simply Nourish and building those kind of core ideas that she brings to that. And for me, luckily, I was someone that got to just be there alongside that journey and managed to reap the rewards through friendship that way.
Would you say that was your biggest aha moment?
Yeah, I think for all of us, it comes from that place of you experience something and you realise that that's kind of your normal and you don't like it. And I was so scared to change because it's scary to take on new things and to realise that what you've built yourself into, to step out of that is quite terrifying, especially when you're a woman in your 50s, you've got other people you take care of, and you always seem to be able to put your needs onto them. So everything becomes about everybody else. And then you realise in your 50s, well, actually, if I don't change, the consequences of not changing are going to be bigger than if I don't make changes. There's going to be an even bigger price to pay. And that's what I thought.
Was there anything that surprised you once you started learning more about midlife health?
Yeah, that things that I were reading were written for men. So that was annoying. And that, we're completely different and we have different demands on us. And I sort of realised that the stresses that I always thought, I wasn't stressed. I was quite all cash and cool. And I realised that life was really, really stressful, and that was playing out in ways which I didn't even recognize, because I was reading all these things about like training and doing this, and it was all written for men. So I was trying to identify with something that I wasn't. And then when I sort of realized, well, actually, my set is different, then I started to go, oh, hang on, this is starting to make sense. And I started to sort of journey towards better wellness for women of my age.
What were the first small changes you made that actually felt doable?
I just started moving. So I just started, walking became a big part of my life. Just that sort of constant movement and just regularly just trying to move. I used to do, and I still do occasionally, but I used to do a lot of yoga, and that was really a doorway into just kind of balancing out my body and just starting moving. And that was probably the first step. And then realizing that what that gave me was actually more, I don't want to say control, that's the wrong word, but more, I understood my dietary needs more as a result of moving. Yeah.
So what changes to your nutrition has made the biggest difference, or what changes have you made?
Protein, and more protein. So in my 50s, I never realised how much I needed to eat. I've always loved food, and I love the environment that food brings, social, family, events, just good, tasty nutrition is great. But I have always been like quite a healthy eater, let's say. But I was eating volumes of food that were just almost out of control. And it was because I just wasn't getting enough protein. And I just had this sort of carnivorous, I was like, I need more food all the time. And it wasn't. I just actually needed more protein to sort of help balance that desire to keep eating, to offset, the energy output that I was doing. And as we get older, I was amazed to learn through Simply Nourish that we just need so much more protein than we think we do. Like, it seems like I eat more protein than my teenage son, who's trying to gain muscle as well. We're fighting for the protein shakes at home at the moment. Yeah.
What changes have you noticed since you've made these adjustments?
I was thinking about that earlier. Probably, like, we all want the physical gains. Like, we want to be able to look in the mirror and say, oh, look, I'm slimmer, or this fits better and stuff. And we all want that. And that comes. But the biggest thing I've noticed is when I am hiking, I can carry more, I can go longer, but most importantly, I can do something that I think is absolutely killing me in a day, and the next day I wake up and I'm recovered. I'm fine. I'm not struggling for 2 or 3 days afterwards. And that's a combination of balancing good nutrition while I'm in that activity, and also the pre-training and protein and muscle building that I'm doing prior to that activity, because I shifted largely from doing somatic movement through yoga and walking, I still walk obviously, to weight training and building with protein through that. And that's made a huge difference in how I can do what I want to do.
And has that development of your weight training come through what you've learned through Simply Nourish?
Yes.
The importance of it?
Yeah, quite simply. I thought that cardio was the way forward. And Brenda, just through talking and conversations, has always sort of said, no, I really think weight training would be a way to go. And she does a little weight training, and I've noticed that her energy levels lift, and just how... just the benefits that you see, holistically overall in the person. And so I went from doing a lot of yoga to doing a lot of cardio work, and I started to get injured because my needs weren't being met by the training systems that I was doing. And I was like, okay, this is going to actually stop me in my tracks if I don't look at this. So I developed a weight training program and have been building on that. And now that's what I do 2 or 3 times a week, and walk on the weekends. And yeah, that's been a huge change.
So you touched on it just before, but just to elaborate, how has your energy, mood and your sleep changed? You mentioned a bit about energy, but what about your mood and your sleep?
I'm just calmer. Like, I'm not a calm person. I'm pretty lively. And I do have a bit of get up and go, but I spent a lot of time feeling like my get up and go got up and went, so to speak, and I didn't have the reserves anymore. And now I just have I feel like I have those long held reserves within me to know that I can do things over a long period of time and sustain a good energy level. And then the combination of sort of eating well and having like good nutrition means that my mood is stabilized a lot. I didn't realize, Brenda will tell you, or maybe she won't, I'm quite a coffee addict. I love my coffee, but I was often balancing that out with sugar as well. So just learning to sort of new ways of keeping myself well and nourished in order to sort of balance has helped equalize my mood a lot alongside the exercise. And then of course straight away your sleep benefits, because you've moved during the day, so you're tired, but also it brings a calm to your evening when you've sort of developed that process of good nutrition and exercise in your day.
What are you most proud of in your journey so far?
Probably the shift in my thinking has been huge for me, because I used to think a lot about what other people thought, not so much so that it stopped me doing what I wanted to do, but I did, like everyone, I kind of worried a little bit. And now,
could it be confidence?
yeah, I think, yeah, confidence, though, yeah, but it's funny because I am really confident. I'm a confident person. So I guess it was that I was confident in myself and what I knew I could do. Now I have confidence in what I don't know I can do, if that makes sense. Like now I think, oh, could I do that? Oh, well, we'll just give it a go. I'll try. Whereas before I would probably think, oh, can I do that? Oh, I don't know whether I can, or I might look a bit stupid, or I might feel a bit stupid, so I won't. Now I think I want to do it, so I'm just going to do it. And if I fall over, then I'll just get back up.
And you will get back up because you're developing your muscles and your bone strength,
Yes.
and with all that good nutrition.
Yes, I'm training for my old lady body.
Perfect. That's what we need to be doing. What did you find most helpful about the way we work together?
Just the way that it's less like a client, and you don't ever feel like you don't have knowledge yourself. You don't ever feel like you're not bringing something to the table. So Brenda has this way of making you just realize that everything you're bringing is valid and helping you build on that, rather than ever making you feel like your life or the way you're doing things is wrong. So it's a mutual sort of learning relationship, even though she has significantly more knowledge on how food works than I do. But in saying that, it's just, you always feel like it's not a no, don't do this, it's a yes and. That's how she works.
So would you say this is a different approach from what you may have encountered in the past?
Yes, well, it's not restrictive. So everything prior was like restrict yourself, which, ends up going into other areas of your life too. And then your whole life becomes restricted and tight. And really, I mean, we're in our 50s. Who wants to live like that? We've earned a better existence. So I think that whole of what you can add, what can you add to your life that is going to give you those long-term benefits? That's, the focus.
What would you say to other women in midlife who feel stuck?
Yeah. Just start. Just take a step. And one day it's 10 steps, and the next day it's 50, and the next day it's 100. And by steps, I don't mean physical steps. I mean eat an apple and then have an extra bit of chicken in the afternoon when you're thinking, oh, I really want that chocolate biscuit. There's a piece of cooked chicken in the fridge, eat it. Just take that one step and just add in all the good stuff. Don't worry about eliminating things, because we're not after perfection, and we're not after eliminating things out of our lives anymore, because we've earned the right to embrace more in it. So, just take a step, physical or otherwise.
If someone was unsure about getting support, what would you want them to know?
You're not alone. We're all in this together. And I think when you hit your 50s, you realise how connected women are and the incredible strength that women have when they are together. Like, there's nothing more satisfying than the sound of 5 women sitting around a table cackling. And they've lived, and they've got lived experience. And I think that, hang on, what was the question? Go back a step.
I have to go back. If someone was unsure about getting support, What would you want them to know?
Don't be, because we're all in this. We're all in this together, and we've all got our own struggles, and we've all got our own way of doing things, and we all have our own worries and concerns and support networks, and then suddenly some people have little support networks. And I think the best part about being our age is we can actually look at another woman of a similar age and go, yeah, I got you. And I think that's great. So don't ever think you're alone on your journey, because we're all kind of journeying towards the same thing, and that's like a good, healthy, well, long life.
Oh, Lou, that was really, really great.
Oh,
That was really awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your story with all the people out there, all the wonderful women out there who are looking to make changes in their lives, don't know how to start, but also don't realise how important it is to actually get going.
You are the most important person. You are. Yep.
And we know every single woman's journey through menopause is completely different. But the big rocks are your sleep, your inflammation, and nutrition, and the right exercise and strength training can all work together to support you and your changes.
Yep, get amongst it.
Yeah.
It's got to be good for you.
Thanks again for your time. Really appreciate it. And look forward to meeting some of you all soon.
Yep, do it.
Yay!